This is Danette, chavis, and you're watching an NAAPD update. He was found guilty of manslaughter, but the Asian community insists it was a terrible accident. Earlier today, thousands and thousands came out in support of Officer Peter Liang, the NYPD officer convicted in the murder of 28-year-old Akai Gurley. The protest, which was organized by the Coalition of Asian Americans for Civil Rights, insists the murder was a tragic accident and say Officer Liang is being used as a scapegoat because no other officers have been prosecuted or convicted for their murders, as in the case of Eric Garner and Michael Brown. They say justice ought to be across the board, and with that, we can all agree. But was the murder of Akai Gurley a tragic accident? With that, the courts have disagreed, and the Asian community is furious and fighting a ferocious fight to get that conviction overturned. They have launched a petition demanding intervention from the White House, and the White House responded because they met the signatures needed. But the White House advised they have no place in the decisions made by state and local prosecutors. So the Asian community has now turned their attention to the Supreme Court, requesting an appeal, claiming to have new evidence. Whether they have evidence or not, the District Attorney Thompson, who prosecuted the case, states Officer Liang was convicted because his reckless actions cost an innocent man his life, and further states this case is about what happened in Brooklyn, not Staten Island or Ferguson. Nevertheless, thousands across the nation protested that conviction, including Brooklyn, New York. There are claims that in Ohio, Indiana, and as far away as Canada, protests were held in support of this officer. Yet activists here in New York who went to the protest as a counter-protest were stopped by police and held on opposite sides of the street. And speaking of police, where were the police unions who are notorious for standing in defense of police? How is it that they were noticeably absent for the Asian officer who was convicted? And though they were not present, it was police who kept a steady count of those supporting the officer to feed to the media. They had no problem using the Asian community to convey a support for police, while police unions themselves were nowhere to be found. The tragedy here is being used against your own, suffering the consequences because of it, and then seeing your people used who come out to support you. This NAAPD update was brought to you by Danette, chavis, founder and creator of National Action Against Police Brutality and Murder. Like us on Facebook, and thank you for watching.